to crush your mountain wellness. All right, full disclosure, I do not celebrate the holidays. However, I love to eat, and I like to eat various types of food. So I wanted to share with all of you today, I want to share the idea of eating healthy in spite of the holidays. We've got so many things going on. And in order to do that, I found the most incredible young lady who's a colleague of mine that can geek out with me on this on this show today. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Miss Gretchen Lindner is an amazing colleague who also helps her clients lose weight and optimize their health. She is an independent health coach with Optavia, a health and wellness company based in Baltimore, Maryland. Gretchen works one-on-one with clients with changing their habits. They build lifelong transformation, and they do this one healthy habit at a time. Having gone through the program herself in 2020, she lost 80 pounds, and thus she's able to connect with her clients very well because she's been there. And this is kind of the story with all of us. One way or another, we have walked the walk, and we are here, and we know what it takes to crush through the challenges, crush our mountains, which is always the last question that I ask my guests anyway. So we're going to talk a little bit about some tricks, some tips on healthy eating during this time. Maybe we'll share a recipe or two, because this is the most gastronomically challenging and gastronomically intense time period during the year. So let's bring her on once again. Gretchen Lindner, welcome to Crush Your Mountain Wellness.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you for having me. I am very passionate about helping people get healthy. Little bit about my health story. I'll give the short version.
Tell us your journey.
Yeah, I was a lifetime dieter. A boy called me fat when I was 12, and it crushed me. I went back to school the next day determined to not ever eat again. And I didn't. I barely ate a Dr. Pepper for lunch, and thus started my dieting when I was 12. I came from a long line of dieters. My mom, my grandma, my aunties, all of them. My dad would see me eating, and he'd be like, "You better quit eating those bag of chips. You're going to be fat like your aunt." And I was like, "Screw you." And I'd eat them anyways. I had very messed up sense of mental habits regarding food. I dieted for many, many years. I counted points. I quit eating. I did diet pills, you name it. I tried it all. Nothing worked for me until I saw a girlfriend on Facebook. I've known her since I was 8, and I trusted her. Her name's Tammy. She's out in North Carolina by you. And I was like, all right, girl, you did something that worked. Share with me what you did. And she shared Optavia with me. And it took me about 6 months to still jump on board with her and be ready to do it. I had to hit my rock bottom first, which was in March 2020, stuck at home with my husband, 3 kids, and 2 dogs, eating and drinking everything in sight. And I was like, oh, Lord have mercy, I'm going to weigh as big as a house. And so I hopped on with her. And this program is super easy, simple. It's simple. We work on brain habits. We learn to eat 6 small meals a day. We learn to fuel our body with the proper foods. And I proceeded to lose 80 pounds in about 11 months. Disclaimer is Optavia. A typical weight loss on Optavia is 12 pounds in about 12 months. But I lost 80 pounds in 11 months. Friends started noticing and started jumping on board with me. And I learned how to become a health coach and help other people. It's just the natural fit for the next step in our phase to help other people get healthy too. You mentioned this not being, a diet. This is a lifestyle transformation. This is truly retraining our brain habits and eating healthy even through the holidays. This is a big time of year, and the old Gretchen would gorge herself and eat lots and lots and lots of crap and sugar and all the things. And now that I've learned how to fuel my body, I don't want to go back there. It makes me feel yucky and inflamed and gross. And, eating healthy all year long, that's my goal. Can I have a treat here and there? Absolutely. That's life. But I've learned to do it the healthy way.
That's very important, very amazing. That's one of the things that I have found even in my personal life, because I myself, I was overweight for my size. And the thing is, when the doctor said that you were pre-diabetic, but we're going to put you on insulin. It's going to be okay. I said, no. And that's what started my transformation. And in fact, that's what started this podcast a couple of years ago. And in fact, I was able to lose my 25 pounds and put on a little bit of muscle. And to this day, people are still asking me, what are you doing? What do you do? And just as you say, it's a simple habit change. But like I always tell individuals, reversing type 2 diabetes, losing weight, all those things is a mind change, a mindset first. And that's what's so important, because if you don't have that determination, then certainly they're not going to make the change. Or you'll start out, but you'll peter out. So that's why a health coach is so important. So that said, what are some strategies that, let's just say, now you say Tammy, which, by the way, Tammy is a typical Southern name, okay? And the proper pronunciation. I'm a New Yorker, so I learned this when I moved down here. It's not Tammy, it's Tammy. Right? Well, Tammy knows this. What this is the area where food rules. So what strategies could we actually take to help our clients, our listeners, our watchers to avoid the pitfalls of holiday eating?
For me, the biggest mindset shift in that range is learning how to have what you like, but learning the healthier version of it. When my husband joined me on plan, he's like, I'm not going to just sit there and eat salads every night. I'm like, that's fine. Let's find some other solutions. We love tacos. You can still have tacos, but maybe instead of the tortillas, we get jicama wraps. Trader Joe's, a lot of people have Trader Joe's near you, Whole Foods, those kinds of things. They have jicama, slice up and use that as your bread. There's pizza. My husband was like, I still am craving a pizza. Okay. Go find a cauliflower crust that's healthy. Not all cauliflower crusts are the same, and not all of them are healthy. A lot of them are filled with crap. Outer Isle's a great one that we have around here. There's a Sprouts near my house, and those are the ones I have. And then finding a good low sugar marinara sauce, low fat cheese, put some turkey pepperoni on it and turkey Italian sausage. Learn how to have what you like, but have the healthier version of it so you don't feel deprived. We have pizza as often as we want. We just do the healthier version of it.
Yeah, that's important. You know what I mean? To have those choices out there. Now, other things too is in terms of technique, because we're going to be at people's homes. And not everyone is going to say, is going to do the vegan lasagna, you know?
Right.
Right. So one of the things I try to encourage individuals to do is to eat close to the time that they normally eat. That's the first thing. And then if that meal is served later than usual, you want to eat a small snack, something that's healthy at your usual meal time, and thus you'll be able to eat less when that dinner is served. The other thing too, offer to bring. If they have something that's a pub, offer to bring a healthy snack. Now, gotta ask you, what healthy dishes do you like to bring to these to people's homes around this time of year?
One of my favorites that's a good appetizer-ish type thing is the buffalo chicken dip. So it's super easy. Throw it in a crock pot, a bunch of chicken breasts and a bottle of the Frank's Red Hot, and then low-fat cream cheese, and stir it up, let it get shredded as it cooks. And that's one of my favorites. I'll bring mini peppers to dip in it, cut it in half, like the little mini sweet peppers, and cut it in half and put it on there, or cucumbers. I can bring bread or little bread things for other people, but I make sure and bring something that I'm going to have that's going to be healthy. It's going to fuel my body for maximum efficiency and not leave me feeling bloated and gross later.
Absolutely. Now, here's the thing about me. I have to tell you this. So I'm half Caribbean, and being half Caribbean, I love Caribbean foods, and I love all sorts of foods that have very similar flavor profiles and along those lines. So that could be Brazilian, that could be Jamaican, that could be Trinidadian, could be Guyanese. And when you say Guyanese, and you immediately go over into the Indian food, because Guyana was strongly influenced by that. So Now we're talking about Indian food, but there's so many different flavors. And the thing about it is, when you have access to those things, you can make healthier versions of a food that's already on its way to being healthy. There's a tremendous amount of spices that they have in there are excellent for the body. Case in point, cinnamon or curcumin. Those are used there, and we can actually make that. And okay, providing folks are adventurous. I deal with an adventurous crowd, you know. Now, have you ever heard of moqueca?
No, what's that?
Moqueca is an Afro-Brazilian seafood dish, and it has clams, it has mussels, it has all sorts of white fish and things like that, and it's served in this amazing stew. The secret is the coconut milk as well as the palm oil that's used, which gives a unique flavor. It's often made with lobster as well, so it's packed with a lot of flavor, but also a lot of powerful nutrients that you get from the sea, and the protein from the fish are amazing as well. You know, now when you get food like that, do you have any tips for when a person is at the table?
Yeah, I'd say fill up before you sit down. Sometimes if I'm going somewhere and I know there's not going to be a lot of healthy options, sometimes I'll eat before I go. That way, when I get there, I'm not tempted to eat all the junk that's on the table. One of the things that we've instilled in our family, good habit, would be have the dishes in the kitchen and serve from there. And then that way you just fill up your plate once, sit down, and you eat what's there. When you tend to have the big gathering at the table, you just want more and more and more if the seconds are sitting right in front of you. And then one of the things that we've learned from Dr. Anderson is we use smaller plates. Instead of having the gigantic 12-inch platter plate, we eat on 8-inch plates. And think of it this way, like half your plate should be veggies and half should be protein, or half veggies and then carbs, low glycemic carbs, and the protein on this side. So you kind of like try to think of it that way, try to portion off your plate and keep it sort of even, depending on what, your goal is for weight loss and program and things like that.
Absolutely. I'll tell you something else. Another thing I like to do is even before I begin to eat, I love to encourage my people, and this is what I do. We build our sort of relationship with the food, meaning you take your time, you want to cherish that meal by itself. Many times, when they say you eat with your eyes, sometimes they say that our stomach, our eyes are bigger than our stomachs. But if we take our time to just enjoy looking, inhaling that aroma and taking the time, a lot of times people don't say grace anymore. They don't say grace. But believe it or not, taking that time to show the gratitude, not just for the meal itself, but for the presence of the company, that does something to your body as well. That puts your body in a rest and digest mode, and as you begin to calm yourself down. And even if you're not one that's going to say prayer, say grace that way, sit and breathe and enjoy the gratitude of having this meal. Just take that time. You can close your eyes if you wish. If not, just enjoy and breathe in and breathe out, and then take your time and savor each bite and morsel. We're so in the world of fast food that we just tend to eat fast. But when we actually chew our foods, we are engaging so many parts of our body that helps with that digestion. First in our mouth with the saliva and enzymes, and then we take the time to let our stomachs let us know when we're full, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take your time and chew your food. Enjoy it. If you are going to have a treat, sit there, savor it. Absolutely.
So besides the buffalo chicken dip, okay, what are some of your favorite foods that you like to share, or just like to have a safe and healthy indulgence in during this time?
So one of the things I learned to eat on this program was spaghetti squash. I had never tried it before. I always was made to eat my veggies as a kid, but I never branched out and tried new things. I kind of stuck with what I liked. So spaghetti squash is one of the things that I've learned to cook on this plan. And my husband learned to eat it with me. And my kids, I'll still make them regular spaghetti. But when I do spaghetti, I'll do a big pot. and it serves my whole family. I have 3 growing boys, almost all teenagers, and they can eat. So I do turkey sausage and turkey, ground turkey, and then low sugar sauce, and keep it healthy. And then I do regular spaghetti for them, and I do the spaghetti squash for us, and I toast it in the oven, like in the air fryer, and spoon it out for hubby and I, and we love it. Brussels sprouts, never really tried those before. Learned how to do those pretty good. My kids, yeah, they're learning how to eat healthy with me. They're learning healthy habits. My husband did program with me, and he lost 40 pounds as well. And so it's all about learning these new healthy habits, passing it on to our family. We just had Thanksgiving at my house, a small gathering. It was just the 5 of us plus my in-laws, and then my cousin came. And yeah, I had mashed potatoes and stuffing for them, but I also had cauliflower mashed potatoes for my mother-in-law and I, who are, still trying to eat healthy like that and not have the regular potatoes. And then we did cauliflower stuffing. Well, we doctor it up and put all the normal things on it that you normally put in your stuffing, but we did it with little cauliflower. And my father-in-law, who's a huge skeptic, doesn't like veggies, he took a spoon of it, and it had Italian sausage in it, and he liked it. And he accidentally, and my cousin, they both accidentally took the cauliflower mashed potatoes instead of the regular mashed potatoes. And we also stirred in some of our powdered Optavia potatoes with it to give it some extra potato feeling, flavoring. And they didn't know. They couldn't even tell that it was cauliflower mashed potatoes, and they ate it and they liked it. And I thought that was a huge win and a huge success. Like, I'm teaching my family how to eat healthy. I'm, yes, putting out the other items with it, but I'm also putting out the healthy stuff. And, gosh darn, I'm going to help my family eat healthy too, and help their trajectory of life. I'm 46 and just learned how to eat healthy 2 years ago. And I'm making a difference in my life, and I want to make a difference in my kids' life and pass it on. And my mother-in-law joined me also. She's 73 and she lost 80 pounds as well. So that is a huge, big deal, huge fun. And she's a healthier, more active grandma with her grandkids. And that is the goal. That is my heart's desire.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right away. If you say that you're 46, okay, we'll believe your husband, and we'll just say he was very fortunate to grab somebody who looks like that they just came out of the quinceañera. You know what quinceañera is?
That is very generous of you. Oh yes,
Okay.
No, that,
right.
yeah.
For those of you that don't know, we're saying that she looks like she's still 15. Okay.
Well, this program helps us age backwards. That's for sure.
A beautiful thing. And that's.
Am I able to screen share and show you my before?
You know what?
Am I able to do that?
You know what? I will allow it. Let's go ahead and do that. I want everyone to see what she looks like. By the way, you get this with her program, Optavia. Also, this is very much what happens with Crystal's healthcare coach, Crystal's transformational coaching, what I do with my clients. So think of it this way, friends. If you see her, what she looked like before, imagine either working with her or working with me and getting the same results. Let's see what we've got.
Let's see. Oh, can you see?
Yeah, holy mackerel, that okay. You?
So that is me. That was at my son's 3rd birthday party a very long time ago. And then this one on the right was about a year ago, year and a half ago.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
That is me. Here's another one. Here's my hubby and I. On the left, that's us at a party about 12 years ago or so. And then that's us on the right last weekend, taking our Christmas picture with our kids.
Yeah, he looks like a high schooler too.
Thank you. He will take that. Let's see. I got a couple more here. I don't need to bore you with all of them, but I just kind of want to give you reference.
Mm-hmm.
That is me.
Yeah.
That is me. Here's a fun Thanksgiving one. That is me before program at about 216 pounds. And that is me about 2 weeks ago holding 80 pounds worth of turkeys. That's how much weight I lost.
Wow.
Very heavy.
So
it was very heavy to hold.
Do you do any muscle building? Do you do any working out like that?
I just started. So I did not do any working out when I was losing weight on program. That is me at the beach a long time ago, back in 2007. And this was me water skiing last summer. I was able to get back up on my water ski. All right, I'll
Nice.
stop sharing. So on program, I did not do any exercising. We focus on changing our eating habits, and I did not exercise except for going for a walk. And that was only after I lost about 50 pounds. And then I started feeling better and feeling like I could start moving my body more, and I started walking. And then now that I want to reach optimal health, I've just about 6 weeks ago started going to the gym and working out and doing some strength training. But nope, all the weight that I lost came off in the kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah, not by killing myself in the gym.
Well, no, the reason why I mentioned that is because
Yeah,
one of the things I try to do is, of course, work with the mindset first, work with
yeah.
the habits, building the habits. But midway in, we start to add in a little bit of resistance training. And here's the reason why.
Hmm.
What I have found is that people are not just overweight, but they're also under muscle. And sometimes what happens is we start dealing with sarcopenia a lot earlier in life than we planned. Now, sarcopenia, some people may not know that term, but that's the progressive loss of muscle that happens as we become older. And that can become more advanced and become more rapid in its progression as we get older. So what I do is introduce to them small changes in terms of resistance training. And as time goes on, we have one client out in Washington State, and he started actually, first thing he did was he named his dumbbells. Okay, he named his dumbbells and just talked to them for a couple of weeks. And then gave him one exercise to do, very small weight. And in that time, though, we sort of built upon it, nothing crazy. He wasn't bench pressing 300 pounds and stuff like that. He wasn't even going to the gym. Everything was at home. And believe it or not, he actually began to pack on a little bit of muscle, and as he also lost 25 to about 30 pounds. So the idea is we can do things, we must do the things, take the steps, take the habits, have the mindset first, and then take the actions towards our success,
Yeah.
And without sacrificing a whole lot of food, okay? Because that's what this show is about today. We're talking about good food and things like that. Let me ask you this, okay? Now, in terms of the desserts, oh my God, we're talking about dessert land right now, okay? So what do you do if someone offers you a nice hunk of chocolate cake? Or I'll tell you what, I know you've never come across this, so I'm gonna throw it at you anyway, okay? What if you come across a nice hunk of black cake? And she's saying, what's that? And God knows, I didn't know he was going to bring me into this thing, talking about crazy stuff like that. Okay, so black cake is what is called rum cake. And rum cake on this side, the reason why I call it, because they use that dark rum and they actually grind up the fruit. And so this is a very dense, very moist, probably and very calorie rich piece of cake. A slice like this weighs about 50 pounds. It's amazing. But what would you then? I ain't saying obviously. But tell me, when you are confronted with those delicious things that are virtually irresistible and traditional, how do you handle that?
So for me, everybody has their own answer. For me, I treat food and sugar especially as a trigger. It's an addiction. And that's one of the things I've learned through this program is I'm a sugar addict. I'm a carb addict. My drug of choice was dark chocolate Ghirardelli brownies with extra chocolate chips. If I made a tray for my kids, every time I walked by the kitchen, I would have another bite. Sugar is very addicting, just as much so, if not more than cocaine. And we crave it. And you can't just have one bite. You can't just have one Oreo, you end up eating the whole sleeve. So for me, treating it like an addiction and treating trigger foods as an addiction, much like you would an alcoholic, I treat myself like that. So if you were around an alcoholic, would you say, oh, come on, just have one shot with me. You deserve a cheat day. Come on. Nope, we don't do that. That's not okay. And so for me, when people offer me stuff and they say, oh, come on, just have a cheat day. You've lost your weight. Come have a dessert with me. My go-to answer is, you know what? I don't trust myself to only have one bite with that particular dessert. So I'm going to choose not to have it. And I would appreciate you not forcing me to have it. When I do go to things, I bring my own sugar-free dessert so that I don't feel deprived. A lot of our Optavia fuelings are packed with protein and low glycemic carbs and no sugar. And so I'll bring one of those instead, or I'll make a healthy dessert instead. But yes, I can allow myself to have a dessert here and there or a bite here and there. Like for Thanksgiving, I had some pumpkin pie without the crust, just had the little bit of the inside, and I just had a small bite, and that satisfied my like taste for it and wanted a little craving for it. But for me, I don't want to fall off the rails. I don't want to be like, okay, I'm going to have one bite and then later another bite. And then 3 days later, like here I am feeling disgusting. So for me, it's a trigger food and I can't go there. So I respectfully ask people not to force me to have it.
You know, that's so very poignant. I'll tell you why, because the journey might be the same road, but it's a different experience for each individual.
Yeah.
And say for me, I have a cheat day. I have a cheat weekend actually, but you know, I've learned to substitute my things. Say, for instance, throughout the week. And here's my thing. You know, Sugar and I, we're kind of on the same page with that. And you said it's kind of like cocaine. Well, guess what? They actually did an experiment. They had the scientists had the doctors. The scientists had the doctors. The scientists had the mice that were addicted to cocaine. The mice were addicted to cocaine. They tried sugar. Then afterwards, they would not touch the cocaine. They were just strictly sugarized, so to speak.
Yep.
Here we are.
True.
Okay. And the thing about it, now you got me on my little rant about the food industry, because they know this. Okay. They paid individuals, they paid scientists $50,000 back in the day to say that the problem was fat, when the problem was sugar all along. And then so all these things became fat-free, and they ramped up the sugar, got people more addicted. Why is there more diabetes? Why is there more obesity? Well, that's the reason why. Well, I still love my sweet taste, my sweet reward. So what I like to do, I use either xylitol or some sort of low glycemic substitute, and I make a little bit of a quote unquote candy with nuts, coconut oil, a little xylitol, and that what happens is it's cold enough these days, it kind of hardens. So I get my sweet crunch, I get my nice unctuous flavor, and I'm good. And I go past my workstation, and there are some friends there who have buckets of chocolate, and I'm like, you know what? Don't feel like it today. You know,
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I successfully did not have one piece of my kids' Halloween candy, and I used to steal a lot, and I haven't had any. It's not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Well, the most important thing is that we take the time to think through our actions.
Yeah.
It's not that we are going to be totally abstinent and just live off of calories and celery. But what we do is maintain our healthy habits, healthy mindset, and eat with the goal in mind. Be an intentional eater, especially during these holidays. I don't know how it is out there, you're in California?
Correct.
Okay, so I don't know how it is out there, but down here they have samples everywhere. Sam's Club, they got samples. We walk into the mall, they got samples. Everybody's giving you cookies or cakes, or try this and try that, and people just gorge on that stuff. Sometimes you don't even have to buy lunch. You just kind of walk through the thing, just do what you eat as much as you can, and as much as you want. But if you are doing it intentionally, then you're indeed succeeding, because you know ahead of time, this is my goal, so I'm going to not take that. And you're going to look at your labels a lot more.
Yes.
Okay? And that's so important too. What have you found in terms of that? Because I got a big amen from you just then. So tell me, what have you found in terms of how the labels are on these packages when it comes to eating anything, but especially during the holidays?
Yeah, just really pay attention. Don't just blindly grab it and think, oh, it says healthy. I can try it. This is probably fine. It's not, be a good researcher for your own health. Be proactive about what you're putting in your body, what you're feeding your kids, what you're stocking your pantry with and your fridge with. Don't go in blind. Read labels, check everything. If somebody gives us something, neighbors, bring gifts and whatever. Sometimes we eat it, sometimes we pass it along to someone else. You don't have to eat everything given to you just so someone doesn't feel bad. If it's not healthy for me and my body and my family, we'll pass it along and not eat it.
Yeah. So, this is the time of year where people gather.
Yeah.
And food is an integral part of the gathering, of being part of the family, of sharing. In fact, one of the very first incidents in the Bible is an incident involving food. And in fact, many incidents throughout Scripture involves food. If you think about Jacob and Esau and their bowl of stew, right? So the idea is to really think deeply about giving the gift of health to your family, to your loved ones. I have one question for you. I ask this of all my guests, and I'll tell you, when I had the pleasure and privilege of meeting for the first time, I said, this is a high-powered lady. So I'm really curious to see what answer you will give to this question. But now another question pops into my head. Now I got to ask it. I'm sorry. But we had a doctor, Dr. Noah Polak, on, and she was discussing how we talk to our children in terms of health and obesity. What messages are we sending in terms of that? And the reason why that popped into my head to ask you about is something you mentioned. I think as you said, it was your dad would say, don't eat such as you're going to be fat like your aunt, you see, or you ran into the fellow at school, boy, you're fat, and yet that just sort of triggered you and set you off and set you on the path. So how have you learned to speak to your family about body image, as well as with maintaining a healthy weight and eating lifestyle?
I feel like possibly with boys, it's a little bit easier. I feel like as a girl, I was a little more sensitive and but I am careful what I say around my kids. It's not like, oh, mommy's going on another diet or mommy's doing another whatever, because they saw me many years do that. And when I started this program, I knew it was something different. And I said, you know what, boys, mommy's learning how to eat healthy, and I'm learning how to fuel my body properly for the rest of my life. And so I invite them to come cook with me. I invite them to come shopping with me. They don't always take me up on it, but just learning how to fuel our bodies properly. We don't call it a diet because it's not. This is lifestyle change. This is truly eating healthy for life. This is fueling our body. This is having a lifestyle change that I don't need to have a cheat day from. This is eating healthy for life. And I'm really trying to instill that in my kids, I think. I think I'm cautious about it because of the way that my dad talked to me. And so I don't talk to my kids that way. We just talk about like, hey, do you think that's the healthiest option you should have right now? Or, things like that instead. Yeah. We try to be more positive and on the positive side.
Absolutely. We are living in that time where people are becoming more aware of how things trigger others. And so it's so important, especially when we have our young ones, even boys, okay, because we're all concerned about looking like the Incredible Hulk or, what have you. And so even boys have a certain body image to a certain extent, especially when that interest in girls comes along. We want to look good, right? So it's important that we do send the right message to both boys and girls. Finally, I'm going to get to that question that I said I was going to ask. Our last question that I ask everyone, Gretchen Lindner, please tell us, as a health coach, as a mom, as an incredible speaker and person that you certainly are, what does it mean for you to crush your mountain?
I'd say for me, it has to do with not letting food control me. I've learned I'm a food addict, and food does not control me. I'm in control of my own life. And I'm in control of what I put in my body and what I put in my mind and what I put anywhere. I'm in control.
I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. Because, you know, being in control, there's so many things when we look at the way the world is, it feels like day in and day out, things are just spiraling out of control. And when it comes to our own health, understand that the powers that be out there, the food industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the medical, the healthcare, you know, quote unquote, or in parentheses, sick care that's out there, has it so that you are not in control unless you make the decision to do so, to be so. So we want to encourage everyone. Tell us, Gretchen, tell us, where can we find you? And if we want, if someone wants to work with you, where can they find you? They know where they can find me. I'm right here. And but you, we want to see where we can get hold of.
Yes, I have a website. I have to look at it. So my website is coach.optavia.com/Gretchen Lindner. And I can put it in the comments for you. They can look me up on Facebook, Gretchen Lindner, and they can send me a message on Facebook, or they can come to my website and look for me. I would love to have a conversation and see if our program would be a good fit for you.
Excellent. Well, listen, friends, take control. This
Absolutely.
season, you can do this. Now, look, I didn't even get into the recipe for Fra Diavolo, which is a wonderful lobster dish, and it's spicy, but all those things can work in your favor. We mentioned Rebecca. If you'd like to have that recipe, we'll leave it for you. It's going to be an amazing dish, and also you can make it year-round, but this time of year, when you have certain celebrations like the Feast of the Seven Fishes, it kind of works. So I invite all to do that. And remember, whatever you do, take control of how you eat. Do not diet. And you know, I always say, you drop off the T, you don't have diet, you have die. So we want to encourage you to have a proper, a healthy eating lifestyle throughout the holidays, throughout the year. And as I always say, don't just climb your mountain, crush through it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Gretchen, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Henry, for having me.